When do you want me to do that?
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right here, right now.
And
I'm Morey White.
I'm Bob Nelson.
I'm Tracey White.
I'm Pastor Johnny Leckie, and this is the Compass Conversation Podcast.
Yay! I'll see y'all later.
We will follow you. You have the name above every name. We will follow you, King Jesus.
Did you go? Oh.
The medium swig. There it was. Big swig would have
Yeah,
been.
That's why you're off today.
No swigging.
You're swig
I
free.
was thinking about, I was going to bring my cup and forgot
Maybe
completely
didn't.
about it.
Yeah.
So,
That's okay.
With my name on it so I can remember my name. That's what that's all for. Yeah, one would think that that's just to identify my cup, but no.
No.
It's just
So
so
you remember?
So I
It's
can remember
more
my-
why.
More why.
Well, welcome to the podcast, and we're glad you're with us. And so we're going to say, going to go around the table, see just how everybody's doing. Keep it straight, keep it honest, keep it straight to the point. Morey White, welcome, friend. How you doing?
It was a rough day. But I'm much better now.
But you're getting better all the time.
Getting better all the time. You know, sometimes relationships are tough.
Sometimes.
And I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about coworkers. So
I'm not talking about
Still a relationship.
Hey, I will tell you this, though. Every time I have ever preached on relationships, okay? So we're starting this thing about relationships. And I've done this many times over the years. Somewhere in one of those, I get into a fight with my wife. What's really bad is if it's on the way to church.
Who wins?
yesterday, y'all noticed I cut out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was because my wife was hangry.
That's a real thing, though.
It
man.
is a real
That
thing.
is-
And it has
that's
to do with her
legit-
blood sugar.
Yeah, I get that.
And so after I got her home and she ate something, everything was,
Give her Snickers. That's what the...
well,
Oh.
she wasn't going to do
Whoops.
that.
Some of
So.
the best commercials.
Yeah.
But you're doing okay today, except you've had a tough day.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad you're here, regardless.
yeah, me too.
Me three.
You don't have to be doing okay to be here on the
Oh,
podcast.
you know, and I've said this before. I'm broken, so because of that, I need to follow somebody, and this is part of me doing that. So,
Yeah, good.
so
Well, we're all
that's,
broken.
and that's
Welcome to the
good
club.
thing.
Welcome to the broken
Yeah.
class.
I walked
Mosaic
right into
Society.
that club too.
Oh,
I mean, full force.
Just like that baby seal.
That's right.
Baby seal.
Baby seal
Got
walks
dark
into
quick.
a
It
club.
got dark. No, it got dark really quick here all of a sudden. Oh, well, all right, boy. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Two guys walk into a bar.
I think the second one would have knocked.
Hey.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we're going to move right along then. Bob Nelson, welcome back, friend. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We had a fun time missing the snow last week until we got back. So,
Yep.
For those of you who don't know, I was in Missouri with the granddaughters. That was a lot of fun. So,
Yay.
yeah,
Awesome.
They turned 1 and 3 on
wow.
Friday and Saturday.
Oh,
So,
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
So that's
it kind of an interesting. I didn't know. It just kind of happened. Isabella was supposed to be born after Adeline, and nope, she showed up early.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, we had a great time. The drive was fine. Coming back, we had to detour well into northern Kansas, northern eastern Kansas, or western Kansas, and eastern Colorado. And there was a little bit of a sad moment. So that it was kind of a pun in one way. As we got into Colorado, we came to Cope, Colorado, and I'm like, I wonder how they're coping with things. Hey, it did not. It was the first building we came across was burned.
Oh,
It was like
no.
torched, yeah.
Wow.
And there was like 4 or 5 businesses. All of them had closed signs, and it was obvious nobody had been there for a long time.
So nobody was coping.
Nobody was coping, but they had a fire department. That was the ironic electronic part.
Nah! They were the only thing still standing.
That's how they were coping with it. And they all became firemen and lit the building on fire.
That's right. That's how we go.
Gotta have practice.
Gotta have something to do.
For those of you watching in Cope, we love you. We're just kidding.
Yeah, hopefully, there's something that'll boom out that way. But it was obvious that I-70 was their death toll on that, because this had been the road to go on. And we came back with a gift. The youngest gave us her cold, and so
nice.
Joy's finally getting over it. I'm like 99.9% over it, but still a little snotty. So
Yes,
Nice.
that's cool.
Yeah.
At least you're better.
Don't start that, brother.
Man, no yawns on. Although I've already been yawned.
Look,
I probably gave it to you. I passed the yawn.
I've got legit reasons.
Nobody saw that.
I saw that.
I'm not looking.
We could just pass it right back and forth.
No, you can't. Oh man,
Don't think about it.
No, you're purple.
Wait, I guess that's sneeze. Never mind.
Well, Bob, I'm glad you're back. Glad you're doing better. And now I'm going to move along here to Tracey White. Welcome, man. How you doing?
Tired. I know that. Look, my neighbor. I love my neighbor. Him and I get along very well. Sometimes he does things that I'm not really fond of, like waking up at 4:30 in the morning to start his snowblower to clean off his north-facing driveway.
Oh man.
So I'm tired.
It's all right if he cleans off yours, though.
Hey.
You know what's funny about that? Because we have south-facing, right? Was there really wasn't much on it at all.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
it was a very easy brush off. So
What?
back to here was a different story. I had to shovel all the way back, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like
No, it wasn't. Wasn't like last week.
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
man.
right.
Hopefully that was it. That was the big.
Yeah.
We're done with the big stuff. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But it is March and it is Colorado.
It is.
March is the snowiest month, is my understanding.
And last week's storm was the 4th largest in Colorado.
Yeah.
So in Colorado's history, Denver's history.
I just don't really care to break snow records.
It breaks me, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
How is your
So you're
back?
tired.
How you doing, John?
How am I doing?
How you doing?
Well, it all kind of goes back to last Monday when the snow came through. Well, our snow was, after we did our service here and then drove home, it had already made it so I couldn't drive into our driveway again. So we had to shovel to get the car into the garage. But I knew that Leona had a flight to Tennessee Monday. We were hoping it wouldn't be canceled. But I knew the only possible way that she was getting there would be if Sunday night I shoveled as much of that snow as I could. And so I go out there, and it was already at 2 feet, at least 2 feet, all the way down my driveway. So that's a 3-layer shovel to the left.
And it's a March snow,
heavy
right? So it's heavy.
Ugh,
wet.
heavy, wet snow. I hate that kind of snow. So I got all the way down to the sidewalk. Figured I'm going to have to get up more because I'm like, oh my soul. Some of those things you pick up and it's like a boulder this big.
Yeah, yeah.
These are heavy. So then I went to bed, had to get up to take her because she was supposed to be there at 6, but we knew it was going to be delayed.
Yeah.
But either way, so I had to get up really early because I knew I needed at least 45 minutes more. So I had to go out and shovel some more, all the way down to the road. And then they kept pushing it back, so it was going to be 9. So I was like, okay, all right, we got a little bit of time. But then we went out there, got in the car, back down. It was one of those things where it's like the car is like on either side this much, and it's like the snow wall. Because now I've made, these big banks of snow. So it's like, back. Let's go. We can do it. We get to here. And yeah. So we had to get out of the car. I had to shovel some more. But anyway, all we had to do was get out of our neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I got her there, and then she had all kinds of adventures at the airport. And we talked
Like
about
the guy
that.
going,
Yeah.
pulling down her mask to cough. And that was
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
Yeah,
coughing in the
What?
hand. She was pulling. Some gal was there pulling down her mask so she could cough into her hands.
Okay.
Missing the point of the old. It's gross to cough into your mask, but I mean, it's kind of why it's there.
Right. That's exactly why
But
it's
anyway,
there.
she was stuck there because it kept getting delayed throughout the day until like finally her 6 a.m. flight finally left at about 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And that delayed her connecting flight in Charleston.
Missed it.
Missed it by that much, as Maxwell says.
Yeah.
But it was annoying because they got off the plane. She had 20 minutes to get to the other side of the airport. There were 6 other people. They're like running. She's like out of breath. They had called ahead to the terminal and said, hold the plane. They're on the way. We've been delayed, blah, blah, blah. And they're seeing it close. They closed the thing. And they said, once the plane has been closed, we can... why were you late again to get your flight? I mean, they're really obnoxious. In Charleston!
It's like, did they not
But
call
those of
ahead?
you
and let
there, we
know?
love you.
Yeah, so anyway, we love you in Charleston.
We love you anyway, despite yourself.
So anyway, she ended up having to spend the night in a hotel that night and missed the whole first day of her visit with her family. But anyway, all that said is I shoveled a little bit more throughout the week because now I had all this snow everywhere. And everything was great until Friday, and I looked back on my back porch area, that little deck there, because it's on the north side.
Yes.
Saying, I think I'm gonna get some of this off of here. I don't want this to get so heavy. So I just went out there and just started. It was great because I could just shovel wherever, right? Because I'm up on the deck and it's wherever it goes, I don't care. Boom, boom, boom. So I was doing that, and I kind of went, oh no! I pulled something
Just
in
the
my
wrong
back on
way.
Friday. I'm fine now, but that was the whole week leading up to today. And so last night, we're getting ready to go to bed. We get a phone call from the school district. I'm like, really? Is it really going to do this again? But see, what happened was...
They did not cancel.
Okay, well, here's what happened. See, the school, they've developed a new policy and rule, the school system, that if you're snowed in, they have to give teachers at least 24 hours notice if they're going to make them teach remotely.
Right.
Because it's a different set of preparations you have to do. Mm-hmm. You can't just take what you were doing at school and suddenly do it remote. It doesn't work like that. So they had called the last time and said that it was going to be remote, and some teachers were like, wait a minute, I thought the policy was, and then they called back again and said, oh, because we misread and forgot about the policy.
Oh.
So this time, we get last night this phone call. We're watching the weather carefully. All teachers should be prepared to teach remotely from da-da-da-da. So they're kind of covering. But what that did was it put this horrible seed of hope in our heads as we went to sleep. You think maybe we're going to get tomorrow off? That'd be kind of crazy. What? Kept waiting, and then you kind of wake up at 4:30.
Because Jen is snow plowing?
Yeah, I hear the snow plow.
Well, it was so slushy they didn't even need to do that.
Yeah, well, either way, anyway, they never called, and we had to go. So we were there today. And it was the right call because it was a beautiful day at the end of the day. So.
All right.
It was a long setup story.
It could have been.
But I'm tired too, is what I'm saying.
Could have been warmer outside. Warmer
Warmer was like
weather.
never tired here. So.
Don't we have chance for
I'm not
snow
that
like
bad.
all week or something like that? Or I
Yeah,
know it's like a
it's
little bit.
Tomorrow
Wednesday, I
night,
think.
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, a little bit more snow.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting what we had though.
Nah.
All right, we've been talking a lot. I've been talking a lot. So I'm tired of talking now. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
He didn't say that yesterday. No.
It's always a preaching joke.
Zing!
I know. What's going on?
Oh goodness. No, it's good. I'm glad. Glad we started a new series and a very valid topic.
Yeah.
These are things that hit close to home. I'm sure for all of us, you know. But it got me thinking about. I have a son who is having a relationship problem, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could get him to tune into this stuff because it's so relevant.
Send it to him.
Yeah.
Send the link.
You know,
We're just getting started on that thing too. We're taking a 2 weeks break before we get back into it as well. But
because we got Big Sunday and then Easter. So and we need help with all of the gear,
Should be able to do that this time.
and that'll be set up different.
I'll help as well.
I know.
it's all good. Man. Don't worry about it.
One thing I do want to mention is that the nice thing about the entire lockdown thing for the last year, that was the first time I've been sick in over a year.
Oh, wow.
I can't complain too much.
That's a good
Yeah.
point.
It caught up on me and, karma'd out. Oh, you haven't been sick.
Time to get sick. Wow.
It's interesting. You talked about creation a little bit, and God created the heavens and the earth, and He said it was good, and He created I've got
Everything.
the word light first, and So you went through all that, and then He created man, and it's like, man, we gotta have somebody for this one.
This ain't that good.
Man.
Well, this is no good.
That's not what he said.
You know what, though? That's a good point.
It said that
What have I done?
man shouldn't be alone.
Didn't be
Yeah.
alone. It's not good for man to be
Not good for man to be alone.
Right.
And that was the first time he said that. And then I think about the COVID and the tension that causes, especially for those that are used to an office type environment and they're working from home. The tensions, and I think of some of the stuff that went on at my work today. Some of the confusion was because we're not all there to see and to be together to work on something. And so everybody's over here and nobody truly has an understanding what the big picture is, what's going on. So it causes, but it just makes me think about how much we need each other. I've been very lucky. I am blessed with you guys, and the rest of the church, and I get to hang with my best friends all the time. My wife and you guys, and so everything's good. But a lot of people don't have that,
Yeah, that's true.
and it causes strain whenever. Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
Well, one thing to understand about like our relationships is, I think that's my camera. We talk all the relationships you talked about and how it's. Just, like I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired.
I don't think my life is quite right.
It's,
makeup.
we have a cut. And we're done. No, I'm just kidding. So we have a strong foundation in those relationships, and so it makes it like I enjoy being home. Of course, I'm out here, so I'm not always with Kathy. But even if I was in there, it would be a good thing. And what's missing from so many other people's relationships is that solid foundation and an understanding of what the intent for our relationships to be, and how we should be to each other. And that's missing for a lot of the world. So it makes their relationships very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Or whenever a seemingly good relationship comes under difficult times, then they just want to throw in the towel. And the thing is, we have a really pretty good set of things to do, right? How to relationship, right?
That's a relationship.
It's it's in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And it's love one another, be kind to one another. I mean,
One another this, one another that.
Yeah, I mean it's
All the one another's, man.
it's pretty clear cut.
But don't poke me in the other eye.
Even when it gets difficult,
One, not the other. Sorry.
even when it gets difficult, when you
All right,
This is
brother.
Suddenly gone around.
This is swiftly gone along.
We're all sideways.
We're letting some steam out of here. What's going on?
Finish up, bro. Sorry.
What you're
man.
saying is fantastic.
I
Keep
am
going, Tracy.
been so derailed here.
Sorry.
Anyway, even whenever it becomes difficult with that solid foundation, it gives you that chance to take a breath and step back and pause and go, I know I'm upset at my friend or spouse or child or whatever, but I know I need to have patience here. You know, I need to be kind in this, and I think that's really important. I wish the rest of the world had that, kind of foundation. It's solid.
It is solid.
Yep.
And what's great about 1 Corinthians 13 that we'll be looking through is that what we're seeing here is not like a do this, don't do this. You know, your relationship's better if you don't do this, if you don't do that, and if you do this and do this. Although there is some stuff about that. It's really more like, here's a painting of what love really looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's sort of modeled. This is what it looks like. This is where we should go with this. And so, taking it on in that way takes a little pressure off of the to-do list and the don't list. You know, it just provides a better picture, and then you begin to go, how much am I like that? How much is my relationship like that? How you know, and how can my heart change and be like that more? And of course, it's only made possible with a new heart that God gives us. But yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't much thought of this, but there are B lists, not do lists. So
yeah.
And
lists.
when you start thinking about how we're saved by grace, not works, right? So everything turns you into something that you're being, not something that you're doing.
Yes.
That's what we strive to do.
Yeah.
Be more like Jesus.
Yep.
So,
Christ likeness.
Christ likeness.
There you go.
But I also got to thinking about young people, and we started off in 1 Corinthians 13.
Talking about
Love
us,
is
right?
patient.
Yeah.
That one is hard for youngins.
Does it have to be on the first part?
I know.
Yeah.
You know, some of those other, you can probably do those. Patience.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was trying to say too. I mean, all of us, you know, patience is a fruit of the spirit anyway, right? So we should all be growing in patience, and that's a kind of endurance that it's like not being impatient with a situation, or you know, the light isn't changing fast enough, or that kind of thing, or I'm having to deal with things in a difficult way. But in relationship to the love chapter, it's not just general patience; it's patience with each other, which narrows that in a little bit. It kind of gives us some walls to channel that patience. So if you're already an impatient person, you're gonna have trouble being patient in your relationships too.
You know, you said love chapter yesterday too, and I was like, the love chapter.
Well, you just call me Dr. Love.
That theme from Love Boat just stuck in my head when you
chapter.
That's funny.
Oh man, I hope we forget that by the next
stuck in my head now.
love. Well,
I'm going to be singing that for the rest of the night, brother. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
it's exciting.
Think about Gilligan's Island.
Well, anywho.
Stop!
Yeah, we're somewhere way away from where we were supposed to be. I don't know what happened. My fault.
They're practicing patience.
There you go.
You know, I was talking to Andy. Once, and we were talking about his baby, Coraline, right? She's coming up on 1 year old.
Wow.
Looking forward to helping celebrate that if I can get away and get on a plane and fly down to Texas, all that kind of good stuff.
I have buddy passes.
But he's like, he was the whole crying thing, you know, he just can't do with the crying. I said, dude, I am so glad you're going through that. because and do it, go through it. Don't try to escape it, go through it, because every time you deal with it, you are building endurance. And that's a really, really good thing. You are learning patience in this whole thing, and your endurance is growing.
That's beautiful.
Shut up, Dad.
And remember, I had to do this with you. Okay. So.
Yeah.
I just learned to tune them out.
Well, you know, and one of their big things is that we can't go anywhere with her, because every time we put her in the car seat, she cries. She'll scream for the 5-minute ride between home and wherever they're going, right, in Victoria, Texas, right? And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I know that feeling. I really do. Been through it 3 times with my own, and I know. I can tell you exactly. You're not going to like the answer, but I can tell you exactly how to cure your baby of that. Do it.
Yeah.
Just keep
doing it.
And eventually, she will get used to it.
Yeah. It does work.
Anyway, have patience and just keep at it.
You know, the wonderful thing is, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about love, but we have the perfect example. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have eternal life." But he loved us that much, and to understand that type of love, in 1 Corinthians talks a whole lot about that. He does have patience with you, he is kind with you, and there's more, but we're going to get to those later, so I'm going to stop there. We got to those two, so I don't want to get ahead like we do sometimes.
Yeah.
God is certainly patient with us.
John 3:16.
John 3:16.
Yeah, John 3:16, man.
Yeah.
We have the perfect example.
We do. We do.
I was
On
forgetting
how
if
we
it's
should be.
First or Second Peter, but he talks about how God's is not late in coming. He's being incredibly patient in when he decides to send Jesus back. So, and there's a good reason for that. He wants everybody in a relationship. He wants everybody to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
That means we got to get
Experience
busy.
John 3:16. Yeah, we got to get busy.
That's right.
Yeah. That's
Why does the world reject that love? What do you think? I don't understand the.
That is a big question that takes a long answer, I think. But I think
Too long of an answer.
No, not too long.
When you're 25 minutes into it, 30 minutes.
Oh, we're near the end. I think a lot of times it has to do with, truthfully, with us. That, people sometimes really kind of like the idea of Jesus and God loving us and all of that, but they've met some of his followers and don't want to be like that, which is a horrible indictment, of course. But Jesus said to his disciples, they will know you are my disciples by your love for one another.
Yeah.
And I think we get that off so many times in churches, because I always said, I say this all the time, but I do believe Satan spends a lot of time in churches.
Sure.
And the reason he does is he wants to get people who are followers of Jesus off track, off mission, and bickering with each other. And so, when you get like that, that's when you begin to be not caring about the world that doesn't know Christ so much, and you begin to be judgmental towards them and mean and all that kind of stuff. So that's part of it. Certainly not the only reason, but I think that we play a role in that as the church. Are we displaying to people genuine love in the way that we interact with them and care for them and all of that? So I think that it's we have we have a job to do. It's we have to get busy, not just about the business of sharing Jesus, although we do. We really need to get serious about the business of loving each other, and that in and of itself, not to a point where we're exclusive, but it should stir us to share that with others.
Yeah.
Right?
Overflowing
love. But if you don't have the love, it's hard to overflow with love for people who don't know Christ when you're already starving for it yourself in your own relationship with Christ, his church, your spouse, your friends, or whatever.
Well, when Paul was writing the letter to the Corinthians, he was writing to Christians.
That's right.
Be kind to one another.
Yeah.
Be patient with one another.
And they were having some issues.
They had some serious issues in 1 Corinthians, that first letter. Oh my gosh.
Yes, the Corinthian church was a pretty messed up church.
Corinth was a
Pretty messed up place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But it's going to be fun to talk about that here soon.
Oh, yeah. But so is Aurora. So is
Aurora. So is everywhere.
Yes, the world.
Yeah.
It is. If we were just doing a full verse by verse through 1 Corinthians, which of course eventually we're going to go through everybody. I'll be 203 years old, but then Bob will take over with that.
I'll be there.
Because he's a whippersnapper. He'll do around. Anyway, but if I was just going to do that, I would start with explaining the world of Corinth in the first century. And you'd go, and then you go, wait, that's kind of like around here.
Very much.
A lot of parallels.
So many things. I mean, anyway.
Well, there is nothing new under the sun.
That is correct.
that is correct.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some technology, but
More efficient ways to do things, but not new.
that's right.
Not new to God, though. You knew it.
That's one of the biggest complaints. It's not like when you were a kid.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. And I said the same thing when I was your age.
All you gotta do is watch some really old movies and you can start seeing. I mean, from the 30s and 40s with you.
Oh, goodness.
And you'll realize that even then, you have younger people who are thinking older people are stupid. And they're not modern. Anyway, we're about out of time. Here's what
We
the deal
are.
is, right?
We are.
We got some good things coming up. So I do want to mention to everyone who is watching that we meet every Sunday at 10 a.m., sometimes in person, always online. And you can join us at Facebook. Just look for Compass Church Colorado. You'll find us there. And we'd love to have you as our guest this Sunday. You can discover more at compassdenver.com. All right, guys, do we have any final words before we go? Compass Church shirt.
Love you guys. Love everyone else out there.
Love you guys. Likewise as always.
I never get to say I love you guys too, but I do.
Say whatever you want, man. Say whatever you want.
I always say peace, but I really do love you guys.
Peace and I love you guys. Grace and peace to you. That's all we have for tonight, and we are out. Farewell, friends. Hasta luego. End of line.